Welcome to Earth 2, where superheroes exist and comic book TV talk is the norm. It's your boy MoeCrosby. You're back to another American Gods episode review and recap. So you know what? Sit back, relax, and as always,
welcome to the planet.
Yo, we're winding down to the end of season 1 of American Gods. It's been really awesome, and I'm both excited and sad that we're getting it's a really short season. But who knows? You know what? We're getting to season 2, so I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with that. Anyway, let's get into episode 7. This episode is titled A Prayer for Mad Sweeney. Now, this episode is very interesting because it focuses on Sweeney's backstory and what brought him to America. While we've seen shorter in the show or in certain episodes, shorter coming to America sequences, and the main show itself, we get like an almost coming to America, but a fully fleshed out coming to America because this is one of our main characters. Mad Sweeney. This one is really focusing on him and his relationships and just him in general. So let's get into it. The episode opens up in Ireland, a girl and her mother sitting on the mountains talking about how, they pray to the leprechauns or the gods, whoever they serve, or the kings, with gold, bread, and milk on the windowsill, like at night or before you go to bed, and something's going to happen to it. And so this little girl believes the story that her mother tells her, and she grows up to continue to believe it, and she continues to do it. So she's working as a maid in a house, and she's still doing this. She's still practicing all this, with the bread and the milk at the windowsill. And so, as a result, she falls in love with one of the children of the lady she's taking care of, and they get this illicit relationship going. He's high born and she's a maid, and she's like, and he's going off to school, and he hands her a necklace. One night, the mother finds the necklace, and the mother accuses her of stealing it and asks the son, and the son never said he gave it to her. He straight up just didn't say anything, and so obviously she was accused of stealing it. She's a thief now, and so she's judged as a thief, and then she's shipped off to England. While she's on the ship's captain notices her, and she's like really pretty and really beautiful, and says, "You know what? I'm going to take you. You're going to be mine. I'm going to take you out of this." So he does take out of this, falls in love with her. When they get to London, he takes her to his home. She becomes like his woman, something of the sorts. And he's like, "You know what? I'm going back to sea again, but I'll be back, and I'll be here for you again as soon as possible." He leaves, and at this point, she said to herself, "Look, I'm already a thief. They brand me a thief, so I'm just gonna continue doing what I do." And so, she robs this man's house. She leaves, and she continues to steal and just so on and so forth. And she's caught this time. She's caught again stealing in the act, and she's judged. But the only difference is this time she is sentenced to death. You've stolen the first time, we let you go. You've stolen again, we're letting you go. So, you're stolen again, we're just gonna, you're done. We're killing you this time. Cut scene, we move to the present times, and we see Mad Sweeney, Salim, and Laura pull up at a stop, and because Salim has to pray, and Sweeney has to take a leak, and Laura's talking to Sweeney and says, we have to let Salim go. It's he's done enough for us because we are going somewhere. We don't have to you could tell him where he needs to go find his gin. We just need to keep going to get me resurrected and all that good stuff, because you can clearly see she's decaying now. There's flies buzzing around her head. Sweeney's like, "No, I can't really let him go. I'm taking a detour for you so I can get my coin back." He's really just concerned about his coin, as you can see from 3 episodes now. That's all he's been, for at least 4 episodes, that's all Sweeney's been talking about is his coin. Now we turn around, and he, they're talking back and forth, and he divulges the information of where everyone is going to be in Wisconsin. So she turns around and tells Salim, "Oh, look, they're going to be at blah, blah, blah point in Wisconsin. That's where you can go and you can find your gin." Salim turns around. "Look, man, you're deplorable." He's telling Sweeney at this point that you're deplorable. Like, how could you not let me know my gin was where he was gonna be at? He's talking, and he leaves. And so they steal an ice cream truck again because it's refrigerated, and she's going to be able to keep herself together because it's summer, it's hot. She's starting to melt. Now, as they're driving, we get sent back we go back in time to continue with this young lady who is who keeps praying to the leprechauns and to the gods with the milk and the bread on the windowsill. Now she's arrested and she's in jail, and we get to see her, and we get to see someone she's talking to, an Irishman she's talking to, looks very familiar, and he's like, yeah, what are you doing here? I'm here because of this. I'm here because I hit a man because he stole something from me, and he turned around and he fell on a piece of glass and he died. Why are you here? Well, I was stealing. And they get to develop this relationship in the prison. So this young girl sees this person and she gets to see him, and they're talking and they're having this exchange, and she still keeps praying now because she had forgotten to pray. So I'm believing she forgot to pray. She got caught, but now she's still praying. And so move forward from that. The one, she wakes up one morning. Her guest in the other cell is gone, and the warden comes in, and he tells her, "Look, you're really pretty. I can make sure that you don't get to serve your food. You don't get to die here. You don't get the hangman's noose." And they have a deal. He puts a baby in her. She goes in front of the judge and she tells the judge, "I'm pregnant. You can't really kill me now." And the judges, they run some tests, and she is pregnant. Again, she's put on a ship and she's sent to America. This is how she gets to America with her baby. She gets to find a man, a tobacco farmer, whose wife just died giving birth, and so he needs a handmaiden, and so she's going to take care of his baby and her baby together. And eventually, she and the man fall in love, and the man falls in love with her, and she falls for the man. You can't really tell if she's gaming the man or if she's actually really in love with the man. I personally think she's gaming him, because she has gamed her way to where she is now. So I feel like she's going to keep gaming her way. But eventually, they fall in love. They get married. They have kids. They have another kid, and their family's a little bigger this time. And so, why not? Why not all of us get together? So and she still keeps telling her kids about the story of the monsters from the old lands, and how you keep them coming or how you keep them away, and pray to the gods, and with the milk and the bread on the windowsill, like you keep doing that. And she keeps doing that even though her husband has seen that it's not okay for her to tell the kids things like that. It's fine, but she still practices all these things. Cut from that, we come back to present times. um Sweeney and Laura in this ice cream truck. It's a little cold in there. Sweeney's complaining about it. Laura's like, shut up. It's not even that cold. But whatever, he pulls out an ice cream bar. They're talking about what happened, and Sweeney tells her, I've died. I saw my death one time. He's telling her about what Wednesday wants and how he wants war, and he feels like we need to get ourselves back, and the only way to do that is to go to war. And Sweeney's like, yeah, there was one time I almost went to war, but I looked in the fire and I saw my death, and I was like, at that point I ran. I was a king once, and I had a lot of gold and I had all this. And she's like, everyone needs to die. I've already done it before. Just as she says that, a bunny runs in front of the ice cream truck. She tries to avoid it. The truck tumbles. She falls out the window. She flies out the window. Her stomach splits. The coin falls out. Now, this is very important because the only way she's alive is because of that coin. Without the coin, she's not alive, and so now she's back to being dead. Cut back, we're back to, we're going back to the past. We're going back to the past in Sweeney's story, and the lady who we've been following, or one of the followers, or one of the people who've been following this whole episode, kind of gets old. The husband dies, and she's back to just being herself, a widow again. And she tells a fantastic story of how he dies, but people aren't really believing her, and that's not the point of it. But this fantastic story of how the husband died is, she shares that story, and now we're back to the point where it's like, oh look, she's back to doing or to praying again, and her kids are grown, and they're older, and they don't really buy these stories from her anymore. So this is how this god, or this person, this leprechaun, is being forgotten. But one night she's sitting on the porch, and lo and behold, Sweeney pulls up to her and he talks to her, and he says, let me, give me your hand. And they walk away together. They find her body, and now she's dead. But this is the story of how Sweeney gets to America. So now we're done with this, how Sweeney gets to America. So we cut back into the, present times, and Sweeney gets up from the wreck. He walks. He gets up. He walks, and he's inspecting the wreck. He sees Laura on the floor, dead and opened, and he keeps walking. He finds his coin, and he's excited. He's like, "Yes, finally!" So he's walking away, but he has a crisis of conscience. Stops, thinks, and we get a very important view of a very important flashback scene where the accident has happened. Laura's accident has happened. We see Laura on the floor, like gasping for breath, and Sweeney walks out of the car. There's this crow. As you know, Mr. Wednesday has two crows, and he talks to one of the crows and he says, "Tell him it's done." Now, this is very important because it starts to, your mind starts to work. Wednesday wanted Shadow. He wanted Shadow for himself. He knew if Shadow went home, and Laura was alive, there was no way Shadow would be his man. But the only way to get Shadow to be his man was to get Laura out the way. Now Laura's out the way. He has Shadow, but Sweeney, and then it comes back to Sweeney. Sweeney's having this crisis of conscience. He's like, "Yo, like I can't believe I'm about to do what I'm about to do." He's cussing at the gods, he's cussing at the sky, but he turns around and he drops the coin back, and Laura, she wakes up. Obviously, she wakes up to see herself split open, and punches him. First reaction, like, "Don't look at me, I'm gross now." Like, and she turns around, flips the ice cream truck over because zombie Laura is like really strong. Turns around and says, "Oh, yo, get in. We need to go. We need to get to where we need to get to." And Sweeney's like, "If only you knew." Like, the expression on his face at this point is, "If only you knew what I just did, you wouldn't be talking to me like that." He's upset, but he's like, "I did something good because I did something bad." I think that was literally what went through his mind at that point. He walks in the van and they drive off together to go on their own little adventure. Jesus who's gonna resurrect her, and that is where the episode closes. And that's my recap of the episode. But my review of this episode is this is one, I think, the bridge episode, a very important episode to the whole show, where we get to see Sweeney's backstory. The first time they went to war, and why he owes Wednesday is because the first time the gods went to war, Sweeney was supposed to go to war, but he ran, and that's why he's continued to owe Wednesday. And also how Wednesday got Shadow to be his man, and how Wednesday was instrumental, how Wednesday and Sweeney were instrumental in Laura's death. So this episode kind of starts to tie things in, and I think this is the most important episode. So everyone should watch this episode. I rate this episode personally at a 9. Again, this episode moves really, really slow with the introduction and with the Sweeney backstory, but when it's done, and when it's all done, and when it's tied together, and you see all you have to see, this is one of the best episodes of the season. I feel like I say that every time I do this, but this is one of the best episodes of the season. It's like I said, it moves slow. There's hardly any action, but the story is very important to the way the whole story works together. And so, yes, I will rate this episode a 9. I'm going back to giving an American Gods 9. 2 thumbs up. Go see it. And that's my review for the episode. Hey, so you can follow Earth2 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Earth2 Comic Cast. Why did I even say It's Earth2 Comic Cast with the number 2. You can listen to our podcast on SoundCloud.com. Again, with the name Earth2 Comic Cast, we have everything on there: movie reviews, TV show reviews. We do trailer breakdowns. We've done a couple trailer breakdowns. We do everything on there. So you want to come on here. We have news, and sometimes we have special guests. So everything on there is done for you guys. We have a lot of content for you. That again is on SoundCloud.com with the name Earth2 Comic Cast. It's been your boy MoeCrosby, and you've been in another American Gods episode review and recap. Go for your lung, guys.